Assalamu alaikum. I apologize for this interruption. I was supposed to finish Israa and Miraaj in the week of Israa and Miraaj, but I had a setback with my dawah, and that's why I stopped for some time, and now I'm back. So, in our discussion to Israa and Miraaj, let me brief you to bring to your memory, some of the information that we covered. In Surah 17, ayah number 1, Surah Al-Isra, Allah says, سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا. And we said, the purpose of this journey lies in the last two words of the ayah that says, لنريه من آياتنا, to show him from our greatest miracles. And we said, those miracles are not on earth. And in Surah 17 and in Sahih Muslim, the description went too fast, meaning nothing happened on this planet, on this earth. What Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam is supposed to see is in the high heavens, or even beyond, outside the throne. Very well, let's pick up on some points that we did not cover in the past videos, if you will. But before we do that, Muslim and Bukhari are one of the most important books in Muslim hands. Also the other books of hadith, Ibn Majah, Tirmidhi, Nisa'i, etc. However, if there is some false information in those books that Muslims never question, we become worse than the non-Muslims. The non-Muslims never question anything wrong in their books. So if Muslims do not question that, so the false information that we are accusing the Prophet ﷺ of saying, it is not those books that are accusing. Those books just, the people of those books never imagine in their wildest dreams that Muslim will sacred those books so bad and will idol and consider those books on the same level of the Quran that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, any false information mentioned about the Prophet ﷺ in those books, it is not those books who are accusing the Prophet, but you Muslims are accusing him. When Denmark and Holland, made cartoons about Muhammad ﷺ, you were so angry, frustrated, because they insulted him. How about your insults to him in accepting the false information in the books in your hands without thinking, without even stopping for a second to reflect? Very well, let's see, some of the mistakes in this story, in this event, Israa and Miraaj. So first of all, we discussed that there is non-existing masjid, physical masjid with doors and windows and rings on the doors in Jerusalem, Baitul Maqdis, Masjid al-Aqsa. We said it is Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem, like the city of Mecca is Baitul Haram, not the Kaaba, not the Hijr. And there were no masjids with windows and doors and rings on the doors when Muhammad ﷺ did this trip. So what are other things that, really doesn't make any sense? Muslim scholars say that, they gave a number, whether it's true or false, that humanity received 124,000 messenger and prophet. 124,000. Have you ever heard in history past, 1400 years back or 2000 years back or any years back, that a house of worship existed that takes inside 124,000 persons, people? Because the story says in some books that when it was time for prayer, all the 124,000, lined up for prayer, and Jibreel pushed Muhammad ﷺ to be the Imam. Do you know a story? Even the Temple of Solomon, what they call Temple of Solomon, Could it take, 124,000 individuals to pray inside of it? 2,000 years back, 1,400 years back? The exaggeration in those stories and the false information is so obvious, but Muslims are unwilling to use their brains or hearts. They are unwilling to question anything. They will accept like the non-Muslims, like the Hindu, like the Christians. They accept anything, any nonsense found in the books. No questions whatsoever. Now we reach, in the last video I said, we reach a very dangerous situation. And that's a situation about Moses, meeting Moses in the sixth heaven. And then, Muhammad ﷺ went to the throne. Allah gave him 50 prayers, and we all know the story. And then, he came back. Moses said, no, that's too much. I know the people. Go back and ask Allah to reduce it until it became 5. Now, if this story is false, it's not the books that are accusing Muhammad ﷺ of relaying false information, but it is you Muslims who are adopting and repeating those stories without any reflection. And I'll tell you why. But before discussing this dangerous situation, this dangerous issue, extremely dangerous, let's go to some of the exaggeration and the false information again in the story, in some of the books of hadith. Then, when he reached the sixth heaven, after saying Assalamu alaikum to Moses, alayhi salatu wasalam, the story says, ثم عرضت عليه النار فإذا فيها غضب الله وزجره ونقمته. And then hellfire was exposed to Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam to look at it, to look into hell, to see what's in hell. Now, in one of the videos I discussed how Jannah is not inside the throne. Ayat al-Kursi says, وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّ السَّمَوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ. His throne acquired the 7 heavens and earth inside of it. And then in a different ayah, Allah says, وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا كَعَرْضِ السَّمَوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And a Jannah, a paradise, in width only, not length. Length much, much greater. In width only is equal to the 7 heavens, including planet Earth. So Jannah, paradise, and hell are not inside the throne, not in those 7 heavens above our heads. That's a big lie. We'll discuss more this about Jannah when we reach, discussing this trip to the heavens through the Noble Quran, not from those stories that accuse the Prophet ﷺ of saying, relaying false information. However, let's see, what they continue and, claim, accusing the Prophet. So, and then, he was, Jannah was exposed to him, hell was exposed to him, and in it, great anger from Allah, and His vengeance, and His roaring wrath. لو طرح فيها قوم يأكلون الجيف. Okay, and he saw in it, some people eating dead bodies. Dead bodies. And we're not allowed to eat dead bodies, not even from the animals or anything else. فقال Muhammad عليه الصلاة والسلام said, asking Jibril, من هؤلاء يا جبريل? Who are those, Gabriel? Jibril عليه الصلاة والسلام said, هؤلاء يأكلون لحوم الناس. Okay. ورأى أكلت أموال, and Jibril said, those who eat the meat and the bodies of the people, meaning backbiting, gossip. You say to your friend, you see Mark is saying this and saying that and has such a rotten, information, and he's against Islam, he's against Allah, he's against Muhammad, he's against the books. You are backbiting me. This gossip is like eating my flesh, according to Allah. If you are doing it, don't do it. Stop doing it for your sake, not for my sake. You're not going to hurt me with your gossip. The same applies about anybody else you gossip behind their back. You're eating their flesh. أيود أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه. Would any of you would love to eat the flesh of his brother after his death? And you are disgusted about this? So he saw people eating the flesh of the people. And he saw those who, with zulm, injustice, eat the money of the orphan. And he saw, some instruments, shooting in their mouth, pieces of fire, because they used to eat those money of the orphan unjustly. In hell, instruments will shoot fire, pieces of fire in their mouths, so that they can eat as they ate the money from the orphan. And it will keep, going straight down the intestines, the stomach, intestines, and then out, like answering nature call. And the same about those who eat riba. When you lend someone money and you ask doubles in return. Now, I'm not going to explain, too much or read too much, because this is so sad. This is extremely sad. One simple question to all those who believe in this false information, accusing the Prophet ﷺ of saying this. Such a miserable accusation. We understand that today, as we speak, and for the last thousands of years, maybe millions of years, there are people in Jannah already reached in Jannah today, receiving, all the blessings. How? Those people, Allah called them the shaheed, the martyrs. And Allah was very clear. Only those martyrs, how you become a martyr? By dying in your bed, or dying defending your home, like all the stories that we keep hearing all over. Everybody is a shaheed today? No. Allah was very specific. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. Do not think that those who die while fighting for the sake of Allah, shaheed, are dead. You see the bodies in the grave, you think that's the end of it. No, it is not. Those shaheed exchanged this suit, the human body. They left it behind to rot in the grave and turned into dust. And they were taken immediately up out of the seven heavens, next to the throne. They are taken to hell to look at it, to see what they have escaped, and taken to hell and dressed in an immortal body, immortal, that lives forever, to enjoy the blessings. Allah says, عند ربهم يرزقون. They are next to Allah, receiving blessings, as we speak today. However, this is mentioned in the Quran clearly. Only those evil may, ignore and reject this. And those are kafir in the eyes of Allah, who give us this information. There is not even one verse in the Noble Quran that tells us the same about those dwellers in hell. Those dwellers in hell have a different approach. The approach is so different. First, they have to be resurrected on Resurrection Day. Then they have to be gathered to the gathering ground, Ard al-Mahshar. Then they have to be questioned. And all that goes with this procedure, like putting them, around a chain, inside the chain, 70 stromas, of chain. Imagine a human body going through the circles of a chain, one of the tortures of Ard al-Mahshar, gathering ground, before they go to hell. There is nobody in hell today except 19 angels. Allah says, وَعَلَيْهَا تِسْعَةَ عَشَرٍ, preserving, preparing hell for that day. We don't have any people in hell. No women, hung from their chests because they were naked during this life, or any of the other stories and fiction that found in the books. None of that. Hell is empty except from 19 angels, clearly mentioned in the Noble Quran. Any other nonsense is nonsense. Accusing Muhammad ﷺ of saying doesn't make a lie come true. But this is not the dangerous situation I spoke about in the last video. In the next video we will pick up on that dangerous situation in those stories, false stories we accuse our Prophet of saying. So take care till next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.